The WagerTalk You Pick special is live, giving you the option to pick the league of your choice and get 30 days of picks for only $99. 30 days of the NFL for $99, done. Just want NBA and NHL for the next month? You can do that for only $99 each. That's right, 99 gets you every release from the league of your choice from your favorite handicapper, including 5% best bets for 30 days. No coupon code is required, and 30-day sports passes will go back to regular price Sunday at midnight. So lock in as many sports and handicappers for only $99 before time runs out.
What up, people? Welcome in. It is time for the NBA tip-off show here on this Wednesday. Can't believe it, November the 17th already. Next week is Thanksgiving. Having a hard time wrapping my head around that. But this is where we are, about a month into the season now here for the NBA. Loaded card tonight, and we've got three of the finest here to help you make it a profitable evening in the association as we welcome back in the Wednesday crew here with Andy, Mr. Prop. Lang is in the house, as well as Tony Mejia and Kevin Dolan. We got some games to talk about. We got some fun to talk about here. More than the three games that we had last night, although the gift from the NBA gods giving us Golden State at plus money is always nice. So, Andy, Prop God, talk to me, man. How's your week been here in the association, and what do you got locked and loaded up at WagerTalk?
We got to pack up with three really solid props for tonight. Week didn't get started off good on a Monday. Got the blown out treatment. Lost two props by half when our guys sat in the fourth quarter. We had overs and they sat in the fourth quarter. So yeah, making adjustments. We're getting to the point of the season where we got to start taking a majority of unders. Foul trouble, blown out treatment, all that's going to start kicking in, but that's okay. We're looking to rebound tonight. Last night was really fun. Like you said, getting Golden State at plus money was amazing, and we're getting some really, really good value on Steph Curry points, rebounds, and assists. We've been really hot on that. I'll continue to ride that all season. So very excited for tonight, for the rest of the season.
All right, love it. If it ain't broke, don't necessarily fix it, and if it is, then blow it up there. Tony Mejia, talk to me, man. How was your evening last night? Not a lot in the association, but there were some interesting games we talked about yesterday on the show. What do you got tonight for us, though, over at WagerTalk?
Yeah, I mean, last night was a light night in the association. I still managed to watch most of the games, but it gave me time to watch some college hoops and some soccer. U.S. with a draw, Canada beating Mexico. Props to our Canadian friends, because that hadn't happened in quite a long time. So now Canada looks like a shoe for the World Cup. And then getting ready for a big NBA card tonight, which includes the Nets looking for revenge. That's part of my best bet this evening. And already locked and loaded with college football play in Maction and college hoops and NBA play. So, we'll be busy. Going to add some more right after the show.
Oh, love it. Let's do it here. Kevin Dolan, my man, what's going on? Were you on anything last night? Were you a Golden State believer last night by some chance? And what do you got going on here tonight at WagerTalk?
Yeah, Joe, what a shocker. Actually, my only play last night was on the Golden State Warriors plus the points. So that was nice, and full agreement with the show. And, on a nice little 11-5 run there in the NBA over the last 2 weeks, 74-46 long-term run as well, 62%. So pretty happy with that. We have one NBA player loaded up for tonight that we sent out earlier. I'll give that out as my best bet on this show as well. And we've got a monster 5% NHL play up for tonight as well. That's our first 5% NHL release of the entire season so far. So make sure and join us for that. We went 80% on 5% NHL releases last year. So, excited about that and ready to talk some NBA in today's show as well.
All right, love it. Golden State, the only dog to win last night, though. Otherwise, pretty damn chalky there with the Clippers and the Utah Jazz beating half a Sixers team. But loaded card here tonight. A lot of different places we can look. But we're going to start, of course, with our contrarian game and play of the day. And we're going to take a look at the New York Knicks. Not as a contrarian, much like we did most of last year, but The Orlando Magic here now. This opens up 11 and a half here to total 208 and a half. Now, we watched the Knicks finally figure out how to win a game there on Monday against Indiana. But boy, oh boy, this feels like an awful lot of points for a team that doesn't defend the three in New York and a team for Orlando, while terrible, all they do is shoot from three. So this is going to be a very interesting game here tonight. Just feels like once again New York gets a win and the market goes crazy over them. So, Andy, I'll start with you here. Talk to me about the props in this matchup. How are you and who are you looking at?
Yeah, it's always fun to see a spread, 11.5. That's more than what my Pacers scored in the fourth quarter the other night. Unbelievable. It's an early Christmas present to the Knicks. Here you go. Well, with the Knicks, we got to start playing some of these players under their point totals. Julius Randle is scoring less and less. They got him at 21.5. His scoring is just going down and down. Kemba is inconsistent. And if you just go to their schedule and their stats and you look, there's just not a lot of scores on this team. And we can take advantage of that. My first play, I am going to take one over in this. I just love Cole Anthony. I just love his energy. I love how hard he plays. I love his interviews after the game. If you've ever seen him in an interview, he's fantastic. And I'm going to take him over 28.5 points, rebounds, and assists. He's just been so good. Gone over this total in 5 out of 7 games. He had bad games against Brooklyn and Boston. Those are going to happen. But this month, he's averaging 6 assists and 6 rebounds per game. So if he gets that, he only needs 17 points, which he's getting regularly night after night. The last time he played the Knicks this season, he went for 29 points, 16 boards, and 8 assists against them. So he feels comfortable against the Knicks, and I'll go with Cole Anthony. My favorite bet is going to be an under on the Knicks, and it's Evan Fournier under 1.5 made 3-pointers. This is plus 145. Fournier's made 1 or fewer 3-pointers in 6 out of 7 games. And the key here is he's taking fewer and fewer 3-point shots as the season progresses. The first 6 games of the season, he averaged 8.5 3-point attempts per game. Last 4 games, he's averaging 3.3 3-point attempts per game. So his shots are going down. We're getting plus money on a number that he's missed in 6 out of 7 games. The value on this is incredible. I'll take Fournier under 1.5 made 3-pointers in this one.
I love that. Matter of fact, I'm going to jump on that right now. Tony Mahia, what do you think here? The Knicks perimeter defense does not exist. They let wide open threes all the time to their opponents, and you got an Orlando Magic team that takes, 42% of their shots from the perimeter. So what do you think here? If the shots start falling for Orlando, can I interest you in an 11.5 point contrarian play here?
No, I don't like it. I think, the Magic lost to the Knicks at home on a Friday night. I was at the game. It was October 22nd. 2 nights later, they ended up dominating. They ended up dominating New York at Madison Square Garden late. They won 110-104. Knicks laid down. Knicks have been a bad home team despite the fact that New York's going crazy for them. So it's really wild. They had lost 3 straight at the Garden up until they defeated the Pacers the other night. And you figure that they want to go streaking here. They've got the Magic and the Rockets on the homestand. Before next week, they welcome in the Lakers and Suns. That'll be a tough ticket in at the Garden. So I think this is a spot where they get momentum going. They're starting to defend a little better. They quieted the Hornets even in a loss, 104 points to a very high-scoring Charlotte team. So maybe they're not tuning Tibbs out as much anymore. I think Evan Fournier needs to shoot more, because that's really his only use on the floor. Otherwise, he will start losing minutes because Emmanuel quickly is clamoring to pick them up. Orlando, I love Cole Anthony's energy as well. I think he is actually going to keep Jalen Suggs from fulfilling his potential, at least this season, because he monopolizes everything. Usually he's touching the basketball more than not. He's got Suggs playing off the ball. I think for Suggs to learn on the job, he needs to be more of a ball handler. We'll see if he plays tonight after an ankle injury sidelined him the other day. It sounds like he's close. It sounds like they're just being cautious with him. But even still, he's not affecting the game as much as Cole Anthony is. And I think I agree with Cole Anthony's usage prop probably leading to an over, but I just don't see the Magic hanging around for 4 quarters. So I think the Knicks win by 12 plus. So I am against the contrarian gods. Don't strike me down.
Nah, we'll see how that works for you tomorrow there. Kevin, Suggs, I am seeing listed as active here too, so we'll see if he goes at all tonight. So is Mitchell Robinson also listed as active here for the Knicks. And Kev, it just feels like such an overinflated line here for a Knicks team that really is hot or cold, depending on how they shoot from 3, depends on how this game goes. I don't know that I want to lay 12 points here with the New York Knicks. What do you think?
I agree with Tony. I'm going to book the contrarian play here. I like watching. Look, I like watching this Orlando Magic team. You know, they're young, they play with pace. And what I like about the most is, you know, if an opponent's not on their game, then this is a team that'll keep plugging away. You know, keep chipping away. In fairness, the other factor you'd say about Orlando is they've arguably played a lot better on the road this season as well. You know, beat New York on the road, played well in spots against Miami too. Lost to Toronto by a point, beat Utah as well. Obviously, you know, huge win for them there. But that's always about the other team, you know, more than them. You know, the other team not showing up, in fairness, rather than Orlando playing a blinder. Orlando will do what they always do, you know, go to Anthony, go to Bamba, and, you know, it's usually up to the opposition to decide if they're going to show up or not. So, you know, the question in this one is, you know, do New York show up here tonight? Because if they do, I think this game, you know, as Tony said, could be a blowout. My power rankings make this game closer to 14. Look, I have Orlando, you know, despite the fact they try and play hard every game, they're one of the worst teams in the league right now. You know, let's face it. So, you know, don't get me wrong. I have backed the Magic in spots this season. They're a great bet if you feel like going up against an unmotivated opponent. And when that happens, you know, this is a team that will get you paid, but I don't think that's going to be New York tonight. You know, New York's defense has ramped up over recent games. They're hungry for wins, obviously, too, after winning just 2 of the last 5. And, you know, look, I don't see them being caught with their pants down for a second consecutive time on home court by this Magic team. So, yeah, I'm going to fade the contrarian play here. I think New York win in blowout fashion tonight. And that's the way I'm going to play this one.
All right, there you go. Knicks in a blowout here. Not for the contrarian gods, though. They're looking at the Orlando Magic, and they'll take those 12 points. All right, we'll move on here to the featured matchup here, game number 1 today. And boy, oh boy, the Lakers taking on the Milwaukee Bucks here. It opened up at 7.5 here for the Milwaukee Bucks at home, 213.5 here for the total. But that has obviously come down now. I'm seeing, what do we got, 9s now, pretty much across the board with a total of 222. So this has come way up, and I think this all has to do, of course, with Anthony Davis now is good to go. They're still being cautious with LeBron here. Middleton also returns tonight here. But what do you do with this situation here, Tony Mejia? How confident, what is Middleton going to do now that he's back at the table? Do we trust this Laker squad with Anthony Davis? How do you approach this game tonight?
Yeah, I mean, the line move is a little puzzling because we knew Chris Middleton was going to play. Is this a Chris Middleton reaction?
Mm-hmm.
Very strange to me. My numbers, having not looked at that line, were 6.5 and 220, so kind of close. I don't think I'm going to want anything to do with this game. The number the way it is, if it was a little shorter, I would trust the Bucks. You know, the Lakers have been hot and cold as well. I do like that they have Talen Horton-Tucker working again. Just a real asset to them for an offense that often goes stagnant. So to have him in the mix and Malik Monk, potentially being a factor once he gets his rhythm going, I think will make life easier on that offense. The Bulls took them apart the other night. Russell Westbrook still struggling more often than not on the offensive end. He pushes and he still looks like Russell Westbrook out there, but his efficiency numbers continue to be way down. This is the start of a 5-game trip for the Lakers. LeBron James expected to join them potentially as early as Friday night in Boston. So, this particular game, I think, will tell us how engaged Anthony Davis is. He's in the mix tonight. Does he feel like going toe-to-toe with Giannis Antetokounmpo? Freak is going to be down to mix it up. So will we see Anthony Davis rise up to the challenge? If we do, then the Lakers have a good chance of at least covering the spread. It looks a little inflated to me. Still no Brook Lopez, still no Dante DiVincenzo. They do have Drew Holiday back, obviously, and George Hill will play through a back injury. So their bench is a little deeper. Pat Connaughton looks a lot better after his first month being part of that rotation so heavily. That's good for his rhythm. So I think both of these teams are going to be better in the coming weeks. Obviously, with LeBron back, hopefully he can stay healthy, and with Milwaukee being more of a cohesive group with a little more depth. But as far as tonight goes, no touch for me, no touch on the total, no touch on the side. So give me Switzerland.
Yeah, it took a little while. I mean, listen, the Lakers have only been an underdog, I believe, 3 times this year. And the most that we've seen them in an underdog role was 6, I believe, and that was against Portland a couple of weeks ago. So, Kev, I don't know. There might actually be some value on the Lakers after all this time. But what do you think? You're willing to go against Milwaukee at home in the return of Middleton?
I think Tony must have read my notes before the show because exact same thoughts. For such a big card tonight, not a whole pile really stood out for me from a value perspective. And this game, probably the least. This game was rock bottom for me because, it's a tricky one. Look, I said in Monday's show, the power rankings wise, my numbers supported Chicago in their matchup against the Lakers, but I actually thought the situation favored the Los Angeles team a little bit more in that, the Lakers didn't have a play in that game. But look, I was really surprised by how poor LA looked. They were absolutely woeful in that game, especially from 3-point range. Shot just 18.8% from downtown. That's pathetic. I could literally pick up 5 random octogenarians from the nearest old people's home over here and probably get a better shooting performance out of them. So, I think there's some serious chemistry issues with this Lakers team. We're hearing all the right sound bites from Vogel and so on. But, until I see LeBron come back later this week, this is a team I'm just not interested in backing because they're absolutely rudderless from what I can see from a leadership perspective. So, but look, the number is high. By the same token, even though I would probably lean to Milwaukee in this spot, laying 9, look, this is a team who've dropped 4 of the last 6. They got manhandled by Atlanta last time out as well. So, laying 9, that doesn't appeal to me a whole pile either. So, my money's going to stay in the pocket for this one with the faintest leans towards the Bucks tonight if I had to play it.
Somebody get Ski on the phone. I'm wondering if he thinks he'd ever see a time where the Lakers would be getting 9 on the road against the team that has played worse defense than they have and whose offense has been hot garbage. So what do you think here? Middleton returns, Andy, and how big an impact is he going to have? I don't know what the prop market is telling us, but who are you looking at in this matchup here tonight?
Well, the prop markets are they're doing what Tony and Kevin did. They're just not even putting him up. So that's what they decided to do. They're just not even up there. Well, when we're talking Lakers Bucks from props, we got to start with Giannis. And we have a high point total here. It's up to 222. Both teams top 8 in pace of play. So when you got a game with a high total, 2 teams with pace of play, you got to start looking at some overs. So we look at Giannis, and it's just too hard to take Giannis over a 43.5 points, rebounds, and assists. He went under his PRA when he went up against Bam Adebayo. He went under his PRA when he went up against Rudy Gobert. So I can't play him on an over when we've got Anthony Davis, but I also can't take his under because we got a really high total. So I'm going to stay off of that. I could potentially see maybe Drew Holiday over 16.5 points. Lakers are 7th worst defensive team, allowing scoring to point guards. There is one play I do really like. It's my favorite play for this game. Grayson Allen over 13.5 points. He's been on fire from threes. He's averaging 16 points for the season. He scored 18, 21, 15, 25, 19, and 22 in his last 6 games. So this is not a fluke from his scoring. He's been doing this, and he's shooting over 50% this month from 3-pointers. I know Middleton's coming back. I don't know what his minutes are going to be. Obviously, when Middleton's there, there's going to be less shooting for everybody. I still think there's enough shots for Grayson Allen to get over this total. I just love his shooting percentage. I love the minutes that he's been getting, and I'm just not sure we see a full workload from Middleton tonight. So my favorite play is Grayson Allen over 13.5 points. I feel pretty confident about that one.
All right, there you go. Good stuff there. Lakers taking on the Milwaukee Bucks here. Lakers getting 9. No touch for Tony and Kev here, but we'll see if this be interesting to see if any of that Laker money comes in late or if it just keeps going the other way. In the meantime, we'll continue to head out west. We'll take a look at the next game up. The Dallas Mavericks taking on the red hot Phoenix Suns. They don't want to seem to lose. Feels like forever since they've last lost a game. Dallas, of course, the big news is in the waning seconds there against Denver the other night. They lose Doncic to an ankle injury, which stinks. But it's interesting enough. They didn't cover against the Minnesota Timberwolves there, Kev, that being the Phoenix Suns. But they did win, and now we're looking at 8.5. What do you think, Eric? Can Dallas compete, in your opinion, without Doncic on the court?
Yeah, most definitely, Joe. I think this line is artificially inflated right now, in my opinion, based off the fact, look, of both Luka Doncic's absence, obviously, plus the fact the Suns are on that 9-game win streak right now, haven't lost a game since late October. But that's not where I made this line. I made this game close to 5.5 on my rankings. So at 8.5, this number's definitely got my attention right now. Yes, Doncic is a huge absence, obviously, but when you look back at Phoenix's recent string of results, on paper, obviously impressive, but like who have to beat? Minnesota, Houston, Memphis, New Orleans, Houston again. I mean, at least 60% of that win streak is absolute garbage. So it's not like I've suddenly vaulted Phoenix right up to the top of my power rankings based off that recent run. And I think there is value on Dallas here tonight. We know that injured player theory. That teams usually, come together for at least 1 or 2 games after they go out. So I think 8.5 is, too many points to be given the Mavericks here tonight, even with Doncic out. And, even though I haven't fired in this game yet, still waiting to see if we can wring any more value out of this number. Best believe if this line goes any higher, I'll be the first one on the queue for a Mavs ticket tonight. I wouldn't even write, an outright upset off here in this one. So, Mavs for me plus the points all day long here.
Oh, liking the Mavs here. And what do you think, Andy? Talk to me from a prop betting. Doncic not in. Is there anybody you are looking to fill that scoring void there?
Oh, my gosh. DeAndre Ayton over everything. Dallas is so bad against centers, and it's not even close. They are the worst team trying to guard centers in the league, and their second place is way down the list. They give up 27 points a game to centers, 17.3 rebounds a game to centers, 3.92 assists a game to centers. The last game they played was against Denver, and we all know Jokic is going to get his stats pretty much no matter what he plays. But against Dallas, Jokic went for 35, 16, and 6. The Suns are no dummies. They're going to take advantage of the hapless interior defense of Dallas. So this is a DeAndre Ayton. I see his points at 15.5. I would start there. Don't play him in every category. Pick your favorite category. If you want to play him rebounds, play him over rebounds. If you want to play him points, just don't spread it out over every category. Just pick one and go with it. Other player props, not really. I do have another quirky thing in this game. Phoenix is 8-3 in covering second quarter spreads. Best in NBA last time I checked. So you might check and see what the line is after the first quarter. This could be a really nice live bet. Phoenix should get much better production out of their rotation in the second quarter, especially that first part than Dallas. They've been really good in second quarters. So if this game is close and you like the line after the first quarter, Phoenix has been really good in the second quarter. Might be a nice live bet.
Oh, interesting. Like that angle there. What do you think here, Tony Mejia? Who are you leaning on here for the Doncic-less Dallas Mavs? You like that side, or you think Phoenix continues to roll?
Well, since I feel guilty about being Switzerland in the last game and Andy just triggered something, why don't you look to see what the Lakers are doing at halftime and then fade them in the third quarter, because they've been trash, as bad as this team in the second quarter. The Lakers have been the worst third quarter team. So as far as this game goes, I think I'm leaning towards the over, just because the Suns have held their last 3 opponents to under 100 points, and the number is actually down 10 points less than their typical total because of Luka Doncic being out, I'm pretty sure. And yet, injured player theory, I think, plays here because Doncic monopolizes the basketball so much that I think Jalen Brunson and Dorian Finney-Smith and especially Kristaps Porzingis are going to be engaged tonight, looking to get more shots, looking to be more aggressive. So that's where my inclination lies with this Suns-Mavs game, is to ride the over. It's 212.5. And then I'm also looking now to do a little second half action with the Milwaukee Bucks against the Lakers.
Oh, like it. Keep in mind here, guys, obviously Doncic's absence already in the number. So don't just think because he's not playing, we should lay the points because he's not in the game. It's already being considered, obviously, with the bookmakers in this game. But there are some angles we're taking a look at here in that matchup. And we got one more game here tonight, too, which is going to be interesting from a totals perspective. It is our overtime matchup here. And, who else? Portland's at home. Nobody better to look at for a total perspective than the Red Hot Chicago Bulls taking on the Portland Trailblazers, who can't win on the road, but they can certainly score points at home. Total is 221 there, and that's what we saw as an opening. And I am seeing now, and it's hard to believe, the total has come down. 219 and a halfs in this one. So, Andy, we'll start with you up at the top from a prop perspective. Maybe not as high scoring as the market opened up at. So how do you approach the prop market here?
Well, the Bulls, they've been doing a really good job of forcing teams to go small against them. So keep that in mind. They forced the Clippers to go small. So Zubac was not existent. He should have had a big rebounding night, but they forced him out and they went small. And then they forced the Lakers to go small when Anthony Davis got tossed from the game. So they do a really good job of getting the bigs out of the game. I know it's overtime, but I do like CJ McCollum under 22.5 points. The Bulls are so good on the perimeter defensively with Lonzo Ball and Caruso. They've just been fantastic. And McCollum has actually gone under this total in 7 out of 9 games this month. But if we're taking it over, I really like DeMar DeRozan over half a three-pointer made. He's made 1 or more in 6 out of 8 games. Portland allows over 4 made three-pointers to the position. So if we're taking it over, I'd look at DeMar DeRozan to hit at least 1. I see him getting at least 1 tonight, maybe a couple more. So for our overtime, I really like DeRozan over half a three-pointer made.
Oh, I like that. All right, so talk to me here, Tony Mejia. What do you think? The market says, probably not going to be as much scoring. I believe this is the tail end of that 5-game road trip here for Chicago. So what do you think? It's been a little brutal stretch, a little less scoring on the Chicago side.
Well, I mean, they got to 121 the other night against the Lakers because Lonzo Ball shot the lights out, and you really don't expect that from him. DeRozan also had a hot shooting night. Levine couldn't miss. So it was really one of those situations where they took advantage of poor perimeter defense from the Lakers and got hot. We'll see what happens here because what we've seen Chicago do, at least short term, is survive the Nick Vucevic COVID issue. At least 3/4 of the way through, because he should be back at some point early next week. And we'll see what happens here against Portland, because I think we'll see Yusuf Nurkic out on the floor his 24 minutes. And then they can, if you want to go small against them, they can go small by bringing Larry Nance Jr. or playing Covington at the 5. And I think they'll be just fine doing that. The next game they face the Denver Nuggets, where they will be dealing with Nikola Jokic. So we'll see if Chicago is fat and happy, as the term goes, with what they were able to do at Staples. And we talked about it the other night. So many guys with LA ties that maybe they're a little down for this game. And therefore, we don't see the game as high scoring or competitive as you would envision. I think that Damian Lillard and Norman Powell are both going to go. They're questionable as far as the official designation goes. But I think most Blazers insiders expect them to play. So keep that in mind if you're waiting for that number to either change or you're looking to hop in when. I think at this point Portland is a good choice in terms of potentially catching Chicago with their mind still in LA.
All right, so we do have to obviously let you know there was concern with the injury report with Damian Lillard and Norman Powell listed both. So that might have given some in the market a little bit of pause because if both, one or the other may not go here. We know there's an abdominal issue with Lillard here, but does that factor in for you, Kevin Dolan? Do you think it makes much of a difference? They're going to be bombs away anyway, aren't they?
Yeah, I can still see definitely why this line has continued to come down here. In fairness, though, Joe, as Tony said, Chicago were absolutely lights out in Monday's win against the Lakers. The Bulls had a 63.5% effective field goal percentage in that game. They shot 44.1% from downtown as well. Both of those are way, way above their season-long averages this year. About 11 and 7.5% respectively, and it's pretty much a carbon copy situation with Portland as well. The Blazers' offensive efficiency metric shot up to third in the league last time out against Toronto. Their 3-point percentage was up over 9% as well from their season average. So, we're bound to see some cool off between these two teams tonight. When I'm looking at these kind of numbers, 2, 3, 5% difference, I can live with that. That's fine. But when I see teams start putting up double-digit differences from one game, compared to their season averages, I'm usually looking to go the other way. So, under's definitely the only way I could look on this one.
All right, looking at the under, and there you go here, guys. Interesting matches, to say the least, coming up here in the association. But now it is time to see if there is a game on the card these guys might like a little bit more than the others. And we'll start with Andy Lang in the prop betting market here. Andy, what do you got? I'm sure you haven't brought up the Pacers yet, and I'm proud of you. But I don't know if this is the spot where you drop in for your Indiana Pacers. But talk to us about this best bet here tonight. Who are you looking at?
Yeah, found a really nice hole in the market. I'm going to go with a Bradley Beal over, but it's not points. It's 4.5 assists. We have a high total in this game, so the books are telling us, whether you agree with them or not, there should be a lot of points. Should mean a lot of made shots, means a lot of assists. And Beal has been a great distributor recently. First off, he's averaging 5.6 assists this season, but recently he's been really good. 7 or more assists in 4 straight games and 6 out of 7 games. I'm stunned at this number is only 4.5, so my best bet is Bradley Beal over 4.5 assists. And yes, I do have to talk about my Pacers. I would like to congratulate Miles Turner on his triple-triple the other night. Against the Knicks, he had 3 categories with 3 stats. He finished the game with 3 points, 3 rebounds, and 3 fouls. We're now calling this the Miles Turner triple-triple in a game that they scored 84 points in. So shout out to Miles Turner. I would trade that guy for anybody, even Christian Wood at this point.
All right. Love it. There you go, Andy. All right, good stuff here. Let's go, Mahia. Is there a game outside of the ones we talked about here you might be leaning towards?
Yeah, I'm leaning towards the Brooklyn Nets. Really frustrated at hearing more cheers for the Golden State Warriors in their own building than they did for themselves. And you saw Steph Curry put on a show, and the look that Kevin Durant and James Harden shared on the bench. Just the fact that things aren't going right for the Nets, but when things aren't going correctly for you, there's always somebody else that's worse off. And right now, that's the Cleveland Cavaliers, who will struggle to get enough healthy bodies to play tonight. But they do welcome back in Kevin Love off his COVID issue, and we'll see he'll probably be on a minutes restriction. But the fact that Evan Mobley's now out for a couple of weeks, Jared Allen didn't make the trip because of an illness. Lauri Markkanen still dealing with COVID. Lamar Stevens being out, and Colin Sexton obviously sidelined for a few months with the torn meniscus, leads the Cavaliers to be really shorthanded tonight. Look for the Nets to win by double digits and lay the 9.5.
Boom! All right, lay it here after that ass whooping last night they took by Golden State. Love it. All right, talk to us here, Kevin Dolan. I have a feeling I know which way you're leaning here on the best bet tonight, but go ahead, lay it out for us. Where are you looking?
Yeah, this is my only play of today, Joe. I circled New Orleans play Miami tonight. I like New Orleans plus 8.5. I waited. I thought it might get to 9. It didn't. It went the other way, went down. So I've locked it in at +8. Still like it. I think it's even come down to 7.5 now. It's just both Jimmy Butler, Bam, Adebayo remain questionable for the Heat in this one. I like the spot for the Pelicans tonight, catching a beat-up Miami team returning home, coming off that 5-game road trip as well. And look, as bad as the Pelicans have been over the last month, they look like a completely different team now that Brandon Ingram has returned. 0-7 with him out of the lineup. They're now 1-1 with him back in. And that loss against Washington on Monday, I was on the Pelicans in that game, and they should have won that one outright. Never mind covered. They were up by 19 in the third quarter, got dropped late. So, this New Orleans team looked rejuvenated to me right now. I think they spring a surprise in this Miami team tonight. And I like the Pelicans plus the points to cover on the road here against the Heat. So, give me the New Orleans Pelicans +8, best bet.
Damn! Nobody took the Houston Rockets? Oh, shocker. Oh, yeah, now all of a sudden he's feeling better. Yeah, I got it. No problem there. I can't believe you're going Pelicans. Damn. On the contrarian side is Orlando, and you're like, oh, no, got to go to the Knicks, but you're going to back New Orleans. Damn you, Kevin Dolan. Don't forget, guys.
You watch it, too. You watch it with.
Don't forget, guys, the best bets tonight are locked and loaded for all three of these gentlemen. You can visit them at WagerTalk.com. That would include, of course, Andy Lang and his props, absolutely killing it so far in the NBA season. Tony Mejia, definitely locked and loaded college football, NBA, college hoops. And, of course, Kevin Dolan ready to go here tonight. Plenty of action on the card here, guys. Great way to start a little bit of a profit train here heading into the weekend. Build up that bankroll, and you do it by heading over to WagerTalk.com. Check out these guys' best bets tonight. Also, while you're there, make sure you just hit that bell in the upper right-hand corner, guys. You'll get notified every time the NBA Tip-Off Show goes live. We certainly do appreciate the support and your time with hanging out with us. And on behalf of Andy Lang, Tony Mejia, and Kevin Dolan, guys, appreciate it. Come back and join us again tomorrow. We'll do it all over again. Good luck with your plays tonight, guys. We'll see you then.
Tuesdays is known as $2 Tuesdays at WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com, where you can get the hottest handicappers, best bet, or daily package for only $2.